Welcome to my garden. We purchased this homestead last year and I started this vegetable garden this spring. Now I'll give you a tour. Let's start with the first bed here. It's a cabbage bed. I have something that I heard only German people eat here. It's kohlrabi. This is a small one. We already ate two big ones that were growing here. There's also some summer leek and some cabbages in here, and I protect them with this insect netting. Here we have some bush beans. This is a variety that I will be canning because we love bean salad. And I also planted some beets here because they are great companion plants, so they protect each other from bugs. And I need to close this gate because otherwise the sheep will come in and destroy my garden, which they almost did last week. They went to the greenhouse. Some plants are damaged and one is dead. I will show you the greenhouse in a minute. But here we have some nice lettuce heads which are ready to be harvested maybe tomorrow when we are having a barbecue night. And here are some spring onions. Let's go to the greenhouse. I mostly use it for tomatoes in the summertime, and I'm also growing a lot of cucumbers in here. This is my favorite cucumber variety. They are so big and juicy, like the cucumbers you get in the supermarket. I'm growing so many tomatoes in all shapes and colors. This is a special one. This one is called Black Eagle. I think it's the darkest tomato you can grow. Usually when your tomatoes are growing really big, you need to cut them because otherwise they would be touching the roof of your greenhouse. This way I can just let them grow on these strings and put this hook over here. I'll put a link in the description so you can check the video for more information. And I also have some eggplants in here and some peppers, and I always plant the eggplants and the peppers at the south facing side of the greenhouse so that they are not in the shade of the bigger plants that are growing on the north side of the greenhouse. And here is the sheep damage. One of my sheep just went in here. It tried to walk through the glass walls like 10 times and destroyed a lot of plants. I think this one will be fine because I can just take one of these little suckers and use it as the new main stem. But this one, I don't know if it's going to be growing back or not. We had an excavator company come in here to level the ground for the greenhouse and for the terrace I built over here. And we also built this beautiful little wall from stones that we found on the property. And here is my only raised bed. I might get another one in the future, but I have not planted anything in here. I know I'm late, but I want to make a video about it and haven't gotten to it. So I will be planting this maybe next week, and I love these. These are so cool. It's a protection from the elements in the spring, so you can start growing lettuces and stuff a lot earlier in here, and you can also grow a lot of things in the winter underneath these covers. This is the wool from our sheep. I will be using it as a mulch in the garden and also as a fertilizer. And I built this terrace from these stones. I planted some time in between the stones, and it's not as practical because if you want to move your chair, you have to be really careful. But I love it, and I think you might be able to harvest some of it if it grows bigger. The next bed is kind of sad. This is a celery plant, and I had it in a pot over there, and slugs came and ate almost all of it. So I protected it with this thing right here. I don't know what it's called in English. Here are some sweet potato plants that I planted too late. They were suffering from my neglection, but I think they are starting to grow. They might be beautiful in the summer, I don't know. This is my perennial bed. I have some artichokes in here, some perennial onions. These are so cool. You use them as spring onions, but they grow back each and every year. And this, it is the same, but it tastes like garlic. It's really cool for cooking. And the great thing about perennials is that you only have to plant them once and you can harvest every year. So it's a lot more stress-free. But I have one annual plant in here, which is my zucchini. Let me show you. I will be sowing one more zucchini plant. Don't grow too many of these because you will not be able to eat all of the fruits. This one is a beautiful green variety. It's called Kukurzelle von Tripolis. It's a German name. I will be sowing one, a yellow one, later this week maybe. This way we have one older plant that might get powdery mildew in the end of the season. It stops the plant from producing almost every year in the fall. But if we have a younger plant, it will keep on producing zucchinis. This way you can continue your harvest in the later time in the season. Here's another great companion planting. It's onions and carrots, and there are some onions and carrots that are going to be growing here. Some of them are already peaking. Over here are more cabbages. I have cauliflower in here and savoy, and I need to be covering them with insect netting. But I haven't done so because in my other cabbage bed I put this pole to support the chain of lights, and this way I cannot put a net over here, so I have to replace it. I'm just a little bit too lazy to do this now, and it means that anytime there could be butterflies and caterpillars snacking on my cabbage plants, which is stupid, but sometimes you're just lazy. And over here are some leek plants. I always put them in the same bed as my cabbage plants because we have a lot of, we call them leek flies. They are little flies that lay eggs in your leek plant, and then you have a lot of maggots if you cut them. It's not delicious, and it happens all the time if I grow leek without an insect net. This is why I put them in the same bed as the cabbages, because I know I'm going to be protecting them, and this way my leeks are also growing underneath the insect netting. And here are our potatoes. They need to be hilled. I already started over there, but I hope my boyfriend, who's behind the camera right now, might help me with the rest, because we grow a lot of potatoes. And we also have this beautiful little root cellar that we will be storing them in. And we have not tried it yet because, as I said, we just moved here, but I'm so excited to have a lot of storage potatoes for the winter. This is a lot of garlic that we grow. It might be enough to not have to buy any garlic from the store. It's going to be ready in July, and as you can see here, the plants will be starting to produce these little flower heads in the upcoming weeks, and I always remove them because once they put their energy into the flower, the bulbs will not be as big. And you can still eat them. They taste like garlic. It's really great because right now we don't have any storage garlic left from the past year. This is a great alternative, and you also can ferment them. Here are my outdoor cucumbers. I have a lot of them in the greenhouse, but this is a great variety that I grow outdoors, and I also grow a lot of pickling cucumbers outdoors. They are going to be growing on these trellises. And here we have some golden berries, and I see they are already producing these tiny little heads. We have something else that is already producing, which is the snap pea right here. These are so delicious. I'm growing 2 different kinds of snap peas because, as I told you, I have a seed company that I founded last year, which is very exciting. And I always only grow this one wheat pea every year. So we only have one variety in our stock right now, but I want to test different kinds of sweet peas. So we have more options for you guys. And this is why I'm growing this beauty. It's so pretty. I mean, look at these flowers. It's incredible. I love them already. And as you know, I love companion planting a lot, which is why I'm growing carrots right next to the peas. Right here are going to be growing a lot of corn plants. You should always plant corns in blocks. If you grow a long row of corn plants, they will not be able to pollinate each other properly, and therefore you will not have these nice full corn cobs. And I'm going to be growing 4 different kinds of corn plants here. One is a sweet corn for barbecue nights, and one is a popcorn variety. And I'm also growing 2 different kinds for bread baking. They are both from the American breeder Carol Deppy. I love her. I love all her books, and I love to grow her varieties. I usually also grow a pumpkin that she bred, but not this year. I'm growing on my beautiful new art trellis that my boyfriend and I built a couple of days ago, and that I love already. I'm growing some Hokkaido pumpkins on here and a lot of runner beans. And I'm starting an experiment, because on this side I planted runner beans on both sides of the trellis. I'm not sure if the pumpkin will take over and ruin all of these plants right here. We will see. On the other side, I only put some runner beans on this side of the trellis. I love to do these little experiments in the garden, because this way you can learn so much faster. And next year I will be a lot smarter when it comes to growing on trellis arches. But you might also put your experiences in the comments below. Here are some broad beans. I love these. As I told you, I only started my garden a couple months ago, and I usually sow broad beans in the late summer, because this way they can start growing before it's winter, and they are really frost hardy, so they overwinter in the bed and have grown so much when the spring starts, and this way they are really a lot sturdier. In my experience, the plants that you sow in spring will be a lot more prone to aphids. This is exactly what's happening right now. There are so many aphids on these plants, but I already saw a ladybug crawling on one of these. I will be spraying them with soap water. And here are some more potatoes. This is a really beautiful variety. It's purple with dots. I like this a lot, but I've never grown it before. It's called Woohoo. And I planted a lot of flowers over here, because I hope they will grow really big and that I have this beautiful, colorful wall in the back of the garden over here. And let me tell you, this will be so beautiful if it's all green and there are all these pumpkins growing here and beans, and you enter the garden and go through this tunnel, and then everything opens up in front of you and everything is lush and growing really nicely. I'm so excited to watch this garden grow. And over here is my salad buffet. Here's some arugula. I always let it go to flower, because this way you only have to sow it once and it grows back every time, because it reseeds. And here's a beautiful salad. I love these. It's called Melde in Germany. I don't know if you have this, but it's so colorful, and I like to put it like salads just for the pop of the color. If you are interested in this growing method with these tomato hooks, you can watch the video right over here. And don't forget to subscribe and go outside and make the world a little greener. Bye! See you next time.